Oh, hello, I'm hosting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mike's Mac Yak. No, hello, welcome to Mac Yak, and I am hosting tonight, and so that's why there was that pause, because I was just quickly checking an email before the show started. We were originally going to only have two people on tonight, but look at us, we managed to wrangle five of us together. There are a few missing, but and I think Dana will be joining us a little bit later on as well, which is great.
As soon as the check clears, he'll join.
And how is everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Great. Doing okay.
That's good.
Glad to be home. Glad to be back.
Yes, that's right. We haven't had Jay for the last couple of shows because he's been off doing super secret stuff. He's doing undercover work for the government. But he's back now, and yeah, loving home by the sounds of it. Already done one live stream, and I believe a second one coming today.
Yes, after Mac Yak, I will be tearing up my wife's iMac and hopefully fixing it. Because if I don't, I will lose my Mac Pro. So,
thank you, Angel, for your super chat there. That is much appreciated. Thank you very much. Now, Grudy, did you want to say something about today?
Oh yeah, happy Veterans Day, everyone, and especially to our Mac Yak member GT. He's also a veteran, and thank you for everyone that's served and protected our country and all the countries around the world, because this is kind of a more than just a national kind of holiday. So thank you.
Yep, thank you. And I should also mention that the 11th of November is also Remembrance Day here in Australia. It's a day where we'll take a minute out to remember sort of servicemen and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. So I just wanted to make mention of that. It is obviously the 12th of November now, because we are living in the future. But I just wanted to make a quick mention of that.
Bruce is
okay, so
no matter what he does,
especially the way I'm incredibly prepared to host this show. Do you like that? I will say, in my defense, there is something very distracting in the show notes tonight, and I'm going to guess it came from Jay because it's got red hair. It didn't come from Jay.
Nope.
Okay.
We keep our show notes in the Notes app, right? So everybody can access it on their Macs, regardless of operating system, their phone. And it has the first lines is like host. What's the other one? Crap, I forgot.
Host, producer, and comments.
Yes, and host, producer, and comments. And whoever fills it in first, that's it. So I always go for the comments, so I can do this. I put the comments up. That's my job, other than being pretty and sitting here. And then there's a host and someone that handles the layouts and stuff. So if you're slacking and you're not keeping an eye on the notes, by the time we go live, if your name is there, you're it. So that's how Bruce ended up hosting 2 seconds before the show started.
Well, it did actually look for a little while there that we were only going to be two of us, so one of us was going to have to host and the other one produce. So
yeah.
But anyhow, as I say, we did manage to get 5 of us together, which is fantastic. So anyone else got anything they want to add before we start getting into this stuff?
No.
Steve, no, Steve, you didn't want to mention about your dropping a container? I think it's worthy of a mention.
Yeah, you guys screwed.
You got screwed.
I had a box of like 270 a plastic bin of 270 screws that I got off Amazon a few weeks ago, whatever, and it's been sitting at the edge of this table and not budging. And of course, me squeezing through 2 tables here, my ass hits the box of screws and nudges it off the side, hits the concrete basement. They go everywhere. And so now I'm probably down to like 10% of what came in that box. I didn't even open it before. So,
do you have a big magnet? I mean, I found that's always helpful with that sort of thing.
I do, but there's a lot of other magnetic stuff on the ground, like capacitors
all right,
paper clips. I want to throw out.
You'd be amazed at the crap that's on his floor.
I've been sweeping. Look.
Wow.
Speaking of floors,
expletive deleted.
did anyone happen to catch Grudy's video on the empty plastic box? I hope everyone.
Yes.
I would expect everyone couldn't help but notice a little bit of flotsam and jetsam on the floor there. Got a vacuum cleaner, Grudy? Just wondering.
Yeah, there's some grass on the. My yard's a mess, and I just track it in, and I never sweep. So.
Fair enough. Why
Yeah,
that's
I don't run my vacuum cleaner all that often either.
You do film the floor for live streams though? Just wondering.
Well, no, but you see the rest of the crap in the background. I need
Anyhow.
Steve to come over. And Steve needs to come over and give me a hand so I can clean this crap up.
I have my own fuzzy things to clean.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think there's enough cleaning to be done.
They made a
over
very
in the basement.
useful thing for guys like you and myself, because I never vacuum. It's a little robot. Sits in the corner, and twice or three
I need an
times a day
all-terrain robot.
It's very useful.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Steve
Steve doesn't have
John
enough-
has one.
Steve doesn't have enough open floor to use a Roomba because
Yes, the Roomba would be like going back and forth.
it would
the same 5
probably,
inches.
it would probably be hitting
in a circle.
yeah, pretty much.
It would be hitting this Power Mac and then the Power Mac next to it, and just on and on and on and on.
Oh well. Okay.
The bad thing about Roombas is they're kind of they're great machines to have, with the exception of they kind of have to have a set path to work with, and most of us don't really have that. Stuff's changing all the time.
No, they got sensors. They go around stuff and they map
Yeah,
it all
but
out
then
as they go.
Yeah, but they do that one time. They map them out, and then they kind of follow the same path. They want to follow the same path. Let's put it that way.
And
I have a question. Having
that
never
just
owned
wouldn't
one,
fly here.
having never owned one, I am curious, being a cat owner, if in the unfortunate instance where maybe a cat leaves something on the ground, maybe projectile.
Yeah,
How
it
does the
would just run
Roomba
right
deal with that?
it cleans
runs
it
over
just
it.
fine, but you end up cleaning the Roomba after.
Hence the reason I don't have one.
All right. Well, I'm figuring that seeing as I've digressed into cat vomit already, I am going to just move straight into the news if that's all right with everyone. So, okay. So we got a couple of news items here that we're going to cover. The first one is Apple changes their mind and now plans to release a software update to the iPhone 12, 13.
Sorry.
That's
Definitely
great.
been
show.
upstage there. So that replacing the screen does not result in a broken Face ID. Now, this is obviously this is something that was being mentioned a lot on the groups and stuff like that. And it's the same with the 12, and this was demonstrated by Hugh Jeffreys, where he was basically saying that if you buy two identical iPhone 12s or iPhone 13s for that matter, and you swap those screens around, the Face ID doesn't work anymore. And of course, it just seems like a fairly, I don't know, it's a fairly mean thing for Apple to do. And then, of course, they've copped quite a bit of flack for it. And there's just been this announcement recently, which is, I find, kind of baffling and hard to believe, that they are actually going to update the software so that you can replace screens without destroying the Face ID. So, I mean, are they actually listening to us now? We have more ports on laptops. We have MagSafe coming back. I mean, what the hell's going on over there?
I mean, after 10 years of not listening and it apparently not working too well, I mean, they're making boatloads of money. So the sales are obviously not suffering, but I guess the feedback got to a point where they kind of figured, maybe if we do listen, it might not be bad for business.
Oh, it's
Give it
gonna
a shot.
it'll give them good press of, hey, they're not being as big jerks as they were last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean,
get that.
you never know. Maybe the
I
next
think-
thing. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Steve. Finish your thought because
I
you'll
was just
forget
gonna-
it otherwise.
I was just gonna say you have to be careful because otherwise, crazy new things will come out like OpenDoc. It'll be back.
What about Hypercar?
Yeah,
I
that we could
think-
use.
I think part of the problem is they're losing more and more share every year to these Android phones that are in a lot of ways far superior to the iPhone. And
Well, they're definitely cheaper.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons they're a little superior. They are cheaper. The operating system's more configurable. There's a humongous list of things that Android's good at. Unfortunately, security is not one of them, which is why many people use iPhones. Because locking down an open source operating system is just, I don't know, damn near impossible. So, yeah, that's why I use an iPhone. I mean, it has nothing to do with the operating system. I personally think iOS sucks, but I do like the security and the fact that I can sync my iPhone with everything in my house because, I am so deeply entrenched in the Apple ecosystem that it's not even funny anymore. So, and yes, Frederick, I would love for Microsoft to bring back Windows Mobile. I would switch my iPhone off in an instant for that. So, but I truthfully, I think that's part of it. I think they're starting to people are going to start shying away from iPhones because if they can't replace the screen easily, the number one thing that gets broken on a phone, then they're going to go with a cheaper alternative, and the only alternative is going to be an Android device of some sort. And I'd almost be willing to bet you that it's just a bottom line thing. They're probably losing more and more market share because of these decisions they're making. So,
I mean, let's face it, they have essentially, glass touch screens have created an entire industry of, sort of phone repair guys on every street corner. And, and that it sort of just seems incredibly kind of mean-spirited. And of course, we have to remember there is the whole right to repair thing going on at the moment. The writing could well be on the wall. They could end up actually being forced into doing something like this. So I guess doing it voluntarily probably ends up looking a lot better as well. So
exactly.
Well, they are being forced to convert their phones for at least the European market to USB-C.
Yeah.
So you're right, Bruce, this may have something inadvertently to do with those. They figured, well, if the European Union can force us to switch our phones to USB-C, then, the US could force us to make these parts replaceable.
I find the whole forcing to go with, USB-C a very interesting precedent, because do you at the same time then start forcing camera manufacturers to only use SD and not compact flash? Do you start, do you start enforcing those sorts of things with all forms of manufacture to eliminate any sort of, I guess, competition within those sorts of realms? And I'm not sure about it. I mean, I love the idea of only having to have one cable for all my stuff. And at least USB-C is a decent one that it can actually go in either way, which I think is a nice thing about it. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of the moment you go in and you start enforcing that from a technology standpoint, I mean, where does it end?
Yeah, I think what,
I don't,
beginning of. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it was getting kind of silly with all the different versions of USB and the mobile devices, and you had mini B, mini micro B, all this stuff, and then you had proprietary connectors from LG and Samsung and all this stuff. So, I mean, even Apple, obviously, but it was. I think it was just getting silly. I'd be happy with a phone with USB-C if it did everything that the current one did and more. That's fine.
Especially if it ran at USB-C speeds instead of the stupid USB 2.0 that the current iPhone still runs.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
They're
absolutely
still using
horrible.
USB 2 on the new iPhone.
Yes.
Are you flipping serious?
It's faster to transfer files over Bluetooth.
Holy Christ! This is what happens when you don't upgrade your phone for 5 years. You get so behind in the technology. I mean, I have a 10R now, but I mean, it's still. Get your ass off my keyboard!
What happened last time? Mike just mysteriously disappeared last time the cat was on the keyboard.
He walked on my keyboard. I have a Logitech gaming keyboard, and I have one of the keys is programmed to lock my screen. There's another program to log me off so that I can just hit a button and walk away. And the jerk freaking walked on my keyboard. Walked
All we
on
heard
my
was eep,
computer.
eep, 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 and then he went away.
And then I was gone. Yeah. Oh.
Just want to have a really
At
quick
least he's
shout
cute and
out
fluffy.
to Horst, who is in the chat at the moment. I caught up with Horst 3 days ago, and we did a nice little trade. He walked away with a nice little a 12-inch G4. What are the G4 laptops called? They're called PowerBooks. Yeah, the little 12-inch PowerBook, 1.33 gigahertz one, and I got myself a 5500. So, so anyhow,
But what color is it?
It's black. It's a black.
You got the director's edition.
Oh, it's a black one. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay, that's a little different.
Yeah. So, and it seems that the plastic is actually a bit more robust with the black one than it is with the platinum coloured one. So I don't know if the makeup in them is a little bit different. Yeah.
It used to be the same with MacBooks, the first generation MacBooks. The white ones always had the cracks in the palm rest and by the screen. The black ones almost never did. So
yeah, cool.
Maybe just people took care of the black ones.
Maybe.
Okay, so are we happy to move on to the next news topic?
Very happy.
There is now a way available to run Mac OS 9 on unsupported G4s, and now for the first time, even the G5. We haven't tried it yet, but damn it, we are going to.
Actually, before we go into it, I was reading it. It sounds more like it's a skin for OS 10 with some more intercompatibility.
Who's fact checking these things? Darn it!
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat too until I started actually reading it. In theory, it should be possible on
was
a
this
G5
the same?
because,
Was this the same story about Classic? Is that what this is involved, or is this something? I'm thinking of something different.
This actually was announced back in September of 2020 on Mac Rumors, and I was reading into it. It sounds like it's more of a OS 10 skin.
All right, I'm looking it up.
Who the heck wants that?
But in theory, OS 9 on G5s could be possible because G5 still emulate G4 code. So in theory, you could do it, but I still don't think anyone's actually done it yet.
Boo.
So sorry for bursting your bubble.
Bubble is burst. I'm
Yeah.
devastated.
I am too. I was going to run OS 9 on Xer.
I never did understand why you could never run OS 9 on a G5. I mean,
Yeah, I couldn't either. It's
because,
just
like
I think
you said,
Apple
Greg, I
wanted
mean,
to get away from it.
well, I know when they introduced USB 2, that was the cutoff for OS 9 working on a machine. So anything that has USB 2 automatically does not work with OS 9 natively.
Yeah.
But as we all know, OS 9 is extremely possible on all these machines. Yeah, sometimes it's a pain in the ass to get working, but it is very possible. So I can't see why it's not possible on a G5.
I would assume it has.
That
to
would
do
be
with the
one
64-bit
fast
architecture.
That would be one fast OS 9 machine.
But you also
G5
Crash
has become a
twice
lot
as
more
quick.
popular in my house, that's for sure.
But OS 9 can only use 1.5 gigs of RAM and one CPU. So,
Yeah, but that's all you need.
True.
It's the same way with a G4. I mean, if you have 2 gigs of RAM, it's only going to use a gig and a half, and it's only going to use. Well, no, OS 9 can use dual CPUs.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Dual
For some
G4s.
things, but not for everything.
Yeah, but
Well,
still
no, it's
useful.
application dependent. The
Yeah.
OS itself will not use more than one CPU. But if you're running, say, Photoshop or some other multiprocessor enabled software, it will
3D
use both
rendering
CPUs.
software.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
So-
I know this because I did it. So I used to use OS 9 as, sort of was doing 3D work. I used to use OS 9 computers as render farms. They crashed all the freaking time, but they could do it. When I started using X Post Facto to actually start installing, these are 604 machines. Once I started using X Post Facto to stick OS 10 on them, they were 1,000 times more stable. But I could utilize multi-processor computers. So, yeah, under 9. Yeah. All right. Well, that's okay. That was a great news article.
We're going to dig into this a little more.
Yeah, we will. I mean, we have to find the link. The link's not in here, so we will have to find the link, and we'll have to investigate and just see, see if this is indeed fake news. Another piece of news here. Gritty got a new MacBook Pro.
Yes, I did.
So now he has to buy one for all of us.
No.
It's all right. I'm happy with the 14. It's fine. I'm not greedy.
Let me show you. Here, I got my FaceTime camera on.
Don't drop
We
it.
are streaming off of it right now.
Drop
Hey. Well, this is my M1. I can just I wouldn't do that, but but yeah, we're streaming off the M1 Max right now.
And
Do you remember
fast?
when there was a time where you moved your laptop the way you just did jokingly, the hard drive would lock up with that sudden motion sensor?
Yeah.
And if the hard drive got old, it would lock up with you just breathing on it. Remember those days?
Yeah, I remember those days.
But
yeah,
is
the
it
M1
fast?
Max. It's awesome.
Are you content with it?
I can what?
Are you content with it?
I am. It scored 10,000 points more in one of my benchmarks than my gaming desktop did for multi-core.
And what are you going to do with this fast machine?
Run my YouTube channel off of it whenever I
Watch
get
YouTube videos.
transferring everything. So it's going to be awesome. The screen's really sharp. It's like I can reach out right now and just grab myself.
That's what he was doing before we went live.
Oh,
He's sitting
boy.
there
Oh,
like this.
Gritty, stop touching yourself.
Like what?
But yeah, I did a live stream unboxing it. You saw my first reactions because I've never seen the screen in person. And it's just looking at you guys right now, it's just heads and tails more amazing than anything I think I've ever seen.
Well,
So
it
I'm
is
very happy
nice
with
to
it.
see that they finally put a full high definition FaceTime camera in the damn thing.
Oh yeah, it's full 1080p.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't look terrible.
Yeah.
I can see your beard all the way
Well,
to the edge.
yeah, he still looks. He still
I mean,
looks
every
terrible,
hair.
seriously.
but
That is,
at least
yeah,
he
we're
looks
getting
terrible in HD.
we're getting far better definition on every single strand of that beard. It's wonderful. We're
Oh, yeah.
we're all really
Doesn't it look
pleased
great?
back here.
And the funny
No,
thing
it
is, you
doesn't.
guys are this far away from me right now. And it looks like I'm just right here, doesn't it?
No, yeah, look,
No,
yeah.
you look about that far away.
I have literally a whole MacBook in front of me. You can't even really see it when I have it tilted down like this.
We'll take your word for it.
We're all. I got a big iPad. Look at this.
Ooh,
Yeah.
A great big one.
Yeah,
That's
We're
big,
actually
right?
big. It's not the same.
I have a,
I got an
I have a
iPad too.
ThinkPad.
This is an iPad, right?
I like it.
I have an
You're-
iPad.
I have an iCloud locked iPad that I need
Yeah.
to find out if it can be bypassed.
See, it starts with an I, so
Right, and think,
All right. Okay, we're moving on.
Good idea.
We got another news article here, just a really quick one, and it's just another Apple One has sold at auction, $400,000 for a computer without a backspace key. This was actually, in actual fact, it was $500,000 because there were $100,000 in auction fees. So it was basically the person forked out
Jesus.
$500,000. Yeah, I know, $100,000 auction fees. Gosh, so the person forked out $500,000 for an original Apple One. Certainly not the most expensive. This article was the only one I could find when I was doing the notes, but there are a lot more articles about this now. If you just look under news, you'll find lots and lots of articles about this
Hey,
one being
Hey,
sold.
Steve, you should feel better now
Yeah, thanks.
that you didn't pay.
Get to that later.
That you didn't pay $500,000 for a computer without a backspace key.
So yeah, I mean, it's there have been ones that have sold for more than that. So it's by no means a record, but it is still an awful lot of money for what it is. But it all just basically comes down to the rarity. There really aren't that many of them around anymore. There were never many to start off with. So Goldman bought it. Yeah, he's going to flip it and sell it for more. How about that? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know really what to make of that. I don't know. Are they crazy, or is it worth it? I'm not sure.
I personally don't see. Yeah, I mean, I see. I guess from an antique collectability standpoint, but most of us buy these machines to play with them, and even from the reproduction kits, there's not much you could do with an Apple One. You know, you could run some of the software tutorials and stuff that came with it, but beyond that, you know, it's lacking a lot of things that made the Apple II very usable.
Yeah, I mean, from the perspective of, I guess, an early tinkerer, what the hell is going on?
Just leave me and my father out of this.
From the perspective of an early tinkerer, if we think about the birth of the personal computer industry, where you are essentially looking at people at home wanting to get into computers. One of the great things about it is it had BASIC built in, so you could go in and straight out of the box you could start tinkering and programming it. Prior to that, for a lot of home users, in order for computers to be cost effective, they were likely to have to go and build the whole thing from the ground up with things like the Altair, and then later the copies like the MSI and stuff like that. So, you know, this was a computer that, yes, you know, it was only a board. Yes, you would need to attach a power supply and a CRT, but ultimately that board was fully built. And so for a home tinkerer, they could sort of start mucking around with computers. So yeah, I mean, you know, they are. Hello, welcome, Dana.
We're talking about the Apple One that sold for a lot of money.
Yeah, I bought that.
I actually have an Apple One clone around here that I built.
Right over there.
I'd like to build one.
It's over there. And I have used it, and it works, and that's great. And it occupied it took me probably an hour or so to build it. That's always fun because I love building things. And I played with it for probably about an hour, and then I've put it away, never played with it again. So,
you know, I found one interesting thing about the Apple One is Apple was still making software for it well into the Apple II lifespan, and they were actually giving offers to people that bought the Apple One a discount on Apple II if they would send their Apple One back to them.
For a period of time, you could walk into Steve Jobs' office. There was a stack of Apple One boards, a stack of them, because people were trading them. They didn't know what to do with them, and they said, "We'll just put it in Steve's office." So a lot of people would just walk into Steve's office and grab one if they wanted to, but they all got trashed. Nobody thought they were of any use.
No.
And they were basically the reason why Apple was trying to get rid of support for them is because they basically, I guess, promised to make software for an extended amount of time, and they were sick and tired of making software for it. So,
I mean, the interesting thing that we're talking about here is we're talking about the creation of an industry. We're talking about an industry that did not exist prior to this, and that is the personal computer industry, now one of the biggest industries in the world. But it didn't exist before. So everyone going through different phases of this new industry, we're going through it for the first time. So no one had any idea that a computer that was 10 times slower than the one they were using now would ever have any value in the future. Why would anyone want to hang on to or keep something that is slower than what I have now, when computing power was all about, you know, the capabilities? It was about the speed, it was about the graphics, it was about, you know, all the different things that, you know, you could do, you know, sort of with these things. And all of a sudden you've got a new computer you can do more with. Why would anyone ever want to keep the old one? So, you know, it's not surprising people threw this stuff away. And of course, if they hadn't all thrown them away, they wouldn't be worth as much.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Apple One that I saw at VCF Midwest. It was
featured
in LGR's video.
Correctly, I think there is something like, I believe, 20 of them left.
Yeah, it's a very small number.
Somewhere, something
Occasionally,
in that
someone
range.
finds one in an attic.
Mike's here. I didn't even realize it.
So there might still be a few undiscovered ones out there, but
So,
they're
Steve,
getting
given
pretty
how,
rare.
how famous you are, did they ask you to sign it as well?
No, they did not. They
Oh,
told
that's
me
true.
to not touch it and not to put any curses on it.
And
Please
But
do
so
not drool.
The
you don't know
story
who I
behind
am?
the story behind that one is an Apple employee basically gave this individual 2 of those boards with the hopes of combining them to make one working one, which they did ages ago. And this was the leftover one that, with 1 or 2 small replacement parts, could get up and running again. I'm not sure if they had the parts installed. I only caught half of the story. And then when I asked the nice gentleman to retell the story for the camera, he was like, "No, that's okay." So
I'm tired now.
his wife was like, "No, come on," and he was like, "No." So, all right, well.
Camera shy.
Yeah,
Oh, well. Never mind.
he knew who I was. Apparently, maybe I don't know.
Now, there is one other news item that is not here in the news that I'm just going to mention very quickly. For those who we have in the last couple of shows talked about Tinker Different, the new website, the new, what do you call it, online community for tinkerers and, people who like to, do interesting things with computers and all that sort of stuff. We had the election recently we had initially nominations and then the voting for the board, the actual board of the organizational committee. And there are 2 Mac Yackers on the board. So I just thought I would make mention of that. So I have been voted as president of the board. And Steve has been voted as the vice president. So the father and son team again.
Yes, thank you, Dad, for voting for me.
So
That's
considering that I
terrifying.
was
That is
just
creepy.
one of the web guys. So we now have a board of 7 people, 7 decision makers on there. And the whole idea is that it is done with elections. Our term is for 12 months. At the end of 12 months, there will be voting again. We don't want this to turn into a dictatorship. The whole purpose of this is to make sure that it always remains democratic. And that was obviously one of the first things we did to prove that to people is we had elections. And I have
as
to
long
admit,
as Bruce is president, nobody will die. That's
I have to admit, I was not expecting to get the top job, but once everyone started tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, you should take the top job," I thought, stuff it. Okay, fair enough.
So I've obviously been gone for a little bit. How has Tinker Different been in terms of people signing up and?
Oh,
how's
excellent.
it going?
Yeah, I mean, all of the stats or everything are looking really good. I mean, we've really got nothing to complain about. At any given moment, if you jump on there, you'll generally see probably between 20 and 30 people online there. At the moment, we have 19 people on there right this very minute. Yeah. We have activity stats there, and we are seeing ongoing new registrations. So we're seeing, what is that? Probably around about... What have we got that? I can't see. Yeah, I mean, on the biggest day, we probably saw about 60 or so registrations in a single day. But, that's obviously tapered down after the initial excitement. But in terms of just the general activity on there, we're seeing lots and lots of posts. We're seeing lots of new signups. And so, yeah, it's going really well. Several hundred on there.
I like a lot of the
Nice.
projects that I'm seeing. There's like an LC logic board recreation that's pretty cool that someone's working on, and then there's a lot of other projects where people are like, "Oh, I want to, have a replacement power supply for this," and a bunch of people are just like, "Oh, you should try this, you should try that." So it's really neat to, Facebook groups and Discord. That's nice and everything, but there's something about the community and the organization of a forum where you have threads, there are replies, they're all organized, the search is really good, and it just it makes it easier to participate in these conversations without being pulled away in too many different directions.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to give you an example, one of the things that I sort of instigated on one of the forums there is for anyone who's used a vintage Mac knows that they have the DB15 port for the video display, and obviously modern monitors these days all have a VGA plug. So you need to get an adapter, a DB15 to VGA adapter, and there are stacks of them out there, new ones, old ones. I mean, even just here in my position, I have probably 4 or 5 different types of them, and all of them have dip switches on them for different controls. Now, some of them actually have the instructions for the dip switch on the connector. Some of them don't. You need the instructions. And I sort of said to everyone, guys, everyone get together who has documentation on these connectors, get on there, scan them in, put them on here. Let's make a single resource for all of these connectors and the instructions for how the dip switches need to be set up. And everyone came in, grabbed the ones they had, took photos of them, scanned in the documentation. We got them all on there. And even now, just with that only been running for a few days, we have, I believe, probably the most complete resource of, sort of instructions for all the different types of DB15 to VGA connectors that are out there at the moment. So,
where's that?
And that's it's a tinker different, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, you'll find it in. You'll find it in. Well,
I have
actually,
one. I guess.
Here's what you need to do. We need to search because we have that facility here.
I did a search, it didn't come up, and now I'm sad.
So it's in forums, Vintage Apple, add-ons, peripherals, and networking, graphic cards, audio, and visual. Or you can just do a search for DB15 in the search field, and you'll see that come up there. So
the DB15 with a hyphen or without?
Without.
Ah, there it goes. I found the link. I'm going to paste it in the chat.
And yeah, I was just so incredibly impressed with how quickly everyone responded it to when I initially posted and said, look, I'll start. Here's what I've got, and here's the instructions, and then we just everyone just started posting theirs. It's just absolutely fantastic. And keep in mind that this is something that, a year down the track, it's not like you'll be trying to find it on Facebook. You know what I mean? This is somewhere where you can just go in. I mean, this will all get sort of indexed by Google as well. So in theory, you'll be able to just go in and search for this on Google, and in the future, and then you'll just get taken straight to it. So
yeah, I have one that was new in the package that I sacrificed the packaging to use it, and I don't know where the documentation went, but I think it's over there. And so when I find it, I'll scan it in.
Excellent. So yeah, anyhow, we won't dwell on Tinker for too long because we have obviously talked about in the last couple of shows. But everything is running; it's going really, really well. We've got a feedback section on there. We've been listening to it. So anyone who's posted feedback and it hasn't been responded to yet, that is simply because we are going to be meeting very shortly as a committee, and we are going to be discussing all of these, and then working out what we're going to do. So
then they're going to find out what Bruce is really like as a president.
Yeah, that's right. Listen here, you. I told you once.
You send me that Macintosh 2FX or I ban you.
Yeah, that's right. So anyhow, that's Tinker Different. So there we go. That was a news item that wasn't even on there. Now we can actually start topics.
Ooh.
So the first topic is from Jay, and I think it was from Jay. I have no ideas.
No, that was GT.
That was GT. I have no ideas. Let's just say, gosh darn it, and end the show here. But no, we won't do that.
All right, bye.
But anyhow, we do have some proper topics here. So, Jay test drove Big Sur for almost 2 weeks. Does he still think Mojave is the way to go, or is he ready to make the switch?
Mojave is the way to go.
Next topic.
The problem is, on my trip, I brought this MacBook Pro, 2015, beautiful, inside and out, so nice. See, even the screen is clean. On day 2, the graphics started crapping out. So, Big Sur ran. It ran pretty good. It caused the temperatures to spike for about 2 days. The first day while it was here, while I was installing it, the temperature was absurdly high. And the second day, the first day I was on the road, it was very high. And then it just calmed down and ran fine. So I'm like, oh, maybe it was iCloud or something in the background, making stuff spike. And then
face recognition.
The first day of hard labor was done. I sat down to watch a show. I start Plex and garble, and the machine shut down. And it just kept doing it ever since. So I did test drive Big Sur because I had no choice, because I wasn't able to reinstall it because the installer would just garble out and quit for Mojave. The look and feel kind of grew on me. I still don't like all the iOS type switches and sliders and stuff. It's just not my thing. But it did run very smooth when the graphics card decided to cooperate. So I think I will be in the maybe near future creating a dual boot on my Mac Pro. I will keep Mojave around for Unreal Tournament and QuickTime 7 and some other stuff that I cannot live without. That won't run really well in a virtual machine anyway, but I might make the switch to Big Sur before the year is up.
So
Yeah.
if you didn't have any hardware problems, it was okay.
I think it would be, yeah. So, and it's as far as operating systems go, obviously Mojave matured really well. It started off with a whole bunch of problems, and I was one of the people that said, no way, High Sierra forever. And then Mojave just matured really well, and I switched to that, and I've been on that for 2 years now. How long has it been? I don't know. I think 2 years.
At least.
And I think the same applies to Big Sur. And now, thanks to that OpenCore integrated patch for Sur Plus, we can run the latest Big Sur on our Mac Pros. And I think I'm going to give it a shot.
Oh wow, Mojave was released in 2018. Oh gosh.
18. Wow.
Oof.
Okay.
3 years then.
So I've been running that for a while. And it's
Yeah,
treated me well.
Mojave-
I got no bad things to say about Mojave, really.
Well, Mojave just lost security updates when Monterey came out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, 3 months before Monterey came out, we had the last security update for Mojave.
really,
Yeah,
I
They
thought they
ditched
were
us
pushing
early.
them out right until the release.
they usually do, but not for Mojave.
Huh.
Just left out in the cold.
Yep.
And I hear that there is now a way, there's some software that you can run that makes 32-bit apps pretend to be 64-bit apps or something like that, so that you can now run older software on Big Sur and that.
If
Yeah,
that works
there's-
for Unreal Tournament, I'm game.
There's
yes, I
a-
don't know.
I am
A
too.
select number of apps like Aperture that essentially the apps are 64-bit compatible, but the problem is some of the dependencies within the applications are not. So what this clever piece of software does is it basically opens up the package, because each application on OS 10 is a package. It opens up that application, it replaces those 32-bit things with comparable 64-bit things, and sort of patches it all up. I have not tested this yet. It's been around for quite a little bit, but programs like Aperture, which Apple stopped supporting before the switch to 64-bit operating systems, that would be cool to get working again. I don't know how compatible it is with other applications. From what I saw, it was only compatible with a select number of Apple-specific apps, but I guess your mileage may vary.
I think the iLife stuff was some of the iLife apps. I think they were ones you could do it too, because a lot of those have been ditched now, haven't they? Or replaced with something.
Yeah, I mean, there's still
worse.
iMovie. Photos replaced iPhoto. GarageBand is still there, I guess. I guess iPhoto was the only one that really bit the dirt with iWeb, but and iDVD. Never mind.
Mm.
I still occasionally use iDVD actually. So
That was a good piece of software until
It
all
was.
those updates just made the themes not work correctly.
well, yeah.
I remember writing an email to Steve Jobs because I was angry that things didn't work right.
What did you say?
Needless to say, he didn't reply.
Oh, what?
Sorry.
Goodness me. It's another one of those don't you know who I am moments. I mean, come on. Mm.
I'm trying
At
to
the
edit my
time-
cat videos.
Yeah, at the time it was like, I have 5 subscribers. I'm important.
So, given what happened to your laptop, Jay, so while you were away, I mean, how long were you laptopless, and what was that like?
It sucked. I am not one of those people that can easily grab my phone and just do everything I do on my phone. I actually kind of hate using my phone. I don't touch it unless I have to. And now I was forced to do everything on my phone. It wasn't fun. And before I left, I always take my 2012 13-inch MacBook Pro anywhere I go. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be a tough trip. Let me lighten the load. I'm going to take the 2015. and boy, did I regret it. I should have taken the 2012 and just be happy.
You should have taken a PowerBook Duo.
I would have, yeah.
Is your 2012 an i5
You
or
wouldn't
an
let it go
i7?
for that long.
It's an i7.
Yeah, I mean that's my main laptop is a 2012 i7, and it's a cracker. I mean, I get that it's now like 9 years old, but it still runs beautifully.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do a stream on it. I figured it's fun to dive into it and figure out what's going on. I ran the temperatures up to 108 Celsius on all the CPU cores and the graphics core.
Holy crap!
Nothing happened. It ran fine. So it's not a heat-related issue. It's something else. And I want to figure out what it is, and I'm probably going to do a stream about it.
Does that officially support Big Sur, or did you have to open core?
No, it's officially supported.
Okay.
Which was the model of laptop? Please refresh my memory. I'm sure you would know this, Jay. Which was the model of laptop that had that little component that was never soldered down properly in the first place? And when you took it back, Apple would actually stick a little bit of
The rubber.
Yeah.
I think that was the 2012.
Okay.
Was it really?
15-inch. Yeah.
And what
15
component
inch.
was that?
It's a RAM socket.
It was something related to the video, because that was they were generally having video problems on those things, and it was a relatively easy one to solve as long as you had someone who knows how to do the micro soldering. It's a little QFN package, and all you essentially needed to do is just resolder it. So just take it off of the hot air station, clean up the pads, put it down properly, rather than how it was originally done. And that's it, problem solved. But of course, Apple don't do component level stuff. So they solved it by sticking a little piece of fuzzy foam on the top of it that was meant to press it down to hold it in place.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing.
That's more of a Rukke Mods repair. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, it is actually.
I put a link in the chat for people that want to know more details about that. It's truly embarrassing.
Yep. And I have actually had one come to me. Someone sent one of those to me for repair. And because saying, I'm having problems with the graphics, no worries. I open it up, and the first thing I see is that little bit of foam stuck on top by Apple, and I'm like, well, I know what the problem is, and sure enough, sticking that back down properly fixed the problem. So
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm not
$1,100.
gonna lie. When I started doing board repairs in 2017, that particular fault funded my whole operation. People would bring these in, and they were expensive machines, still widely used in 2017, and it just paid my bills for a long time. And all I had to do was scrape off the rubber, lift the chip, clean it, put it back down, solder it. I would be done in 10 minutes and charge people the appropriate amount, and it was a good time. It was a good time.
Dear. Okay, well, once again, I think we've done that one. So now we're going to move on to a more fun topic. We do have a sadder topic to talk about a little bit later on, but we'll get the fun stuff out of the way first. So this is one that I actually just mentioned on last week's show, and we were actually going to talk about it last week, but we didn't get around to it. So I thought, well, we'll put it as a real topic in this show, and that is, what's the furthest you've ever traveled to pick up a computer bargain?
New Jersey.
Let's go around the move. We'll start with Jay up in the top left hand there.
All right, 500 miles is my answer. And you're like, how the hell did you come up with that answer so fast? We actually discussed this in September of 2019, so I still have the notes for that show. So 500 miles, I drove from Cincinnati, Ohio to Rochester, New York, and I got a whole bunch of G4s and Mac Minis and eMacs and G4 iMacs. And then on the way home, I stopped by Dan Basher's house and picked up that ginormous stack of Xserves. So it was a good trip, 500 miles.
I remember that now.
It's a good trip. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that's about 800 kilometers. So thank you, Horst, for the conversion there. Okay. All right. How about you, Steve? I feel like you're going to give us a silly answer.
No, I really haven't. I mean, I just can't remember driving further than like an hour and a half or 2 hours to get something. The one that I did most recently was probably the e-waste dump where I got the G3 all-in-one from, which is right there. And then probably before that was another hour and a half drive where, or maybe it was like 2 hours, but either way, it was for Image Writer LQ, the big, huge, wide laser letter quality dot matrix printers, and it was in excellent shape. Had a dust cover, had a ribbon for it, and everything. And the guy also had a Macintosh SE as well. And so that was probably a good maybe hour and a half, 2 hours each way. So it wasn't terrible. I'd probably guess that would be the largest amount. I mean, I've flown to places like conventions and happened to pick up stuff, but it wasn't for the specific need to go grab something.
That's because if it's further away, Steve makes me do it.
You volunteer. Thank you.
I wouldn't have volunteered if you would have said, "Hey, by the way, can you go do this for me? I'll give you something."
I've even had Mike do it for me.
Yeah, we know that.
Ghostly Mike voice coming from the background. How far have you travelled for to pick up a
4.5 hours one way?
Ooh.
Well, you never came back.
He's still there.
So,
What you
what,
grab?
9 hour round trip, eh?
Yeah, I was absolutely freaking insane.
What was it for? You got to tell us.
It was for an IBM.
Oh, no.
What is wrong with you?
Well, this wasn't recently. This was like 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it was for an IBM PS2 Model 95A server, which are extremely expensive these days. So, and I drove 4.5 hours out and 4.5 hours back, almost just outside of Pittsburgh. And I'll never do that again. So right now, the furthest I'll go is to somewhere around central New Jersey, because there's a big stash out there somewhere, and that's just a little. It's about 3 hours. I can do it in 2 hours and 50 minutes at 85 miles an hour, assuming that I don't get pulled over and people get the hell out of my way. So, however, my car is not very intimidating, so people don't move over very often. So it usually takes me a little over 3 hours because people in New Jersey don't know how to drive.
Fair enough.
Second,
yes, that's the furthest. That's the furthest.
Can you confirm that, Steve?
I said same. Yeah, there's the people here do not know how to drive. I'm the one in the freaking hybrid passing all these people. So.
So
How about you, Rudy?
You're going too slow when you get passed by a freaking Prius.
Exactly.
Well,
Can Chris elaborate on dumpster driving? I
assume that's meant to be diving.
He didn't correct it. So
if you drive into the dumpster, you open it up a little bit, and then you could grab everything, put it in your trunk, and drive it out.
Come rolling out and you just grab them.
Not counting the people from Mac Yak that I've gotten stuff from. The furthest I think I've ever gone is about an hour away from my house back when I lived in northern West Virginia, which would be around the Pittsburgh area. I got a big, huge deal of Macs all at once. We talked about that in that episode back in 2019. Got a Super Mac and a bunch of other things. And mainly thanks to Steve for the Super Mac. And
I was tempted to get it myself, but I wasn't going to pay shipping.
But the farthest I will drive, probably in the next few months, is.
You better not come back to my house.
You stole my Centris.
in-
Why don't you come over here?
In the next few months, I'm going to see Colin Mister, aka DOS Dude 1, and he is selling me most of his Mac collection.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah,
So you're
he's
going to
going to
drive
keep one of each model, but he's going to give me everything else. And that is a 350-mile trip, so that's going to be fun.
Which direction you go?
And he's going to do it on his motorcycle.
No, I can't fit that many Macs on a motorcycle.
Well, you can try.
Yeah.
You driving away from me and Mike or toward me and Mike?
I'll be driving towards GT. It's in around Richmond, Virginia. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you have a centrist.
I can also
with my
pick
name
up
on
my
it.
Max GT has. So
Well, drop off my centrist with him, and then we got to meet up with him anyway. So there you go.
well, someone's at my door. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, Dana,
We
it's your
never
turn.
heard from him again.
Your
Oh,
turn,
what's
Dana.
next
What's,
for Mac Yak?
what's the first
So
visit?
I was just Google mapping this. So the furthest I've ever gone, round trip, 716 miles
Ooh.
to
Holy Christ.
Chicago and back, north of Chicago and back.
I know what that was for.
It's when I picked up that Apple Network server, the second one.
Yeah. That's got to be worth it, though, surely.
I wouldn't have gone there for anything else, really.
Yeah.
And this is the time to share the links to all the videos you did about it. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'll post them right now.
Oh, look at all them go by.
There they are.
Yeah. It's
You need to subscribe to him to see the links. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Well, at least Dana's living up to his name there on his picture.
Oh, who changed that?
I don't know.
I just noticed.
Who changed that?
I like it.
it wasn't me.
I don't care.
Oh, Joe, what
So-
did you
Says
say?
his round trip.
709 miles.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Probably an Apple II.
I have no idea what the trip was for me in miles, but the furthest I've ever gone for a computer was a Mac Plus that didn't work. I went to Canberra, and it's about 3 hours south of me. So that's 6 hour round trip. So I guess that's something.
Yeah.
But that's the furthest I've ever gone.
I wish
And
Madeline
we know
was on.
people. Yeah, I was
We
going
could
to
ask her. I
say.
bet she's gone a long ways.
She would beat us hands down. I mean, when she brings the Macs here, she brings the
Yeah.
Macs here for repair.
Like a 6 or 7 hour drive, isn't it?
It's 5 hours, I think.
5. Okay.
It's 5 hours, yeah, from here to Ballina. So yeah, it's a fair hike, that's for sure. But I think she has to come to Sydney for other things as well. So she does that a fair bit. I need to actually talk to Madeline. I must remember to get in touch with her. I haven't spoken to her in way too long.
I was just chatting with her. She's doing well.
Excellent. Good to hear. Okay, it's 286 Canberra to Sydney. There you go. 178 miles. Thank you, Horst. He's sitting there with Google Maps.
He's the analytics guy. From now on, you have to watch every show.
Yeah.
So, for everyone here who has that dream computer that they want to have in their collection, if that one came up for a really reasonable price, how far would you be willing to travel?
Yeah, let us know.
10 minutes.
We couldn't even get you to go down the street to get
You just
more
drove to
CRTs.
upstate New York and back.
I flew there and I drove back. And I didn't
really?
drive. I just sat there.
Yeah, Jay doesn't drive, remember?
Wait, so you flew out. And then
Wait. There was room for that CRT, and you didn't bring it home.
I have to be careful because I think my wife is watching, but there was definitely no room for that CRT. I would show a picture of what's in my garage right now, but again, my wife might be watching. So. And to my knowledge, she hasn't been in the garage yet, so
As
there's
he
time
hears
for
the
me to
door
clear it
slam.
out. Yeah, there's time for me to clear it out before she goes in there.
What did you do?
He basically he gave me every piece of electronic Mac related that he owned, and said sort through it, keep what you want. And he's passing by in another 2 weeks from now. Says whatever you don't want, I'll take back with me. Whatever you want, you can keep. So
Easy, bringing the
there was-
CRT.
the CRT is currently in a dumpster buried under washing machines and other stuff. So no, sorry. Yeah.
Was that a
It's gone to
1705?
CRT heaven.
It was a 17-inch something Apple,
So,
but when I picked
1705.
it up, I
Okay.
picked it up to put it somewhere else, and the case started cracking. It was so brittle, it
They all
never
do
would have
that.
survived.
Yeah,
shipping.
you have to use it. You pick it up with your mind. You can't use your hands.
Yeah, okay. I don't watch Star Trek, so.
I don't think they do that in that show.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
Some
maybe
people
Vulcan mind meld, but that's about it, didn't we? Yeah. So.
A Spindler CRT meld.
All right, guys. Let us move on in honor of GT, who's not here with us today. So, okay. So the
Rudy
next
comes
topic,
back looking bewildered. I want to know what happened first.
yeah, booty call.
No, that was
Rudy
my
call.
friend, and that was my friend, an auto detailer. He was coming to get his payment.
Oh.
Tell me you're
No
busy.
booty call.
No,
When
it's
you have
happening.
people coming to your home to pay you, you should pay them sooner.
Well, no, I had
he
to
was
pay
paying
him.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it
makes
sounded like
more
they were
sense.
hunting you down.
So, yeah.
Now we do have another topic here. This is one that I chucked in last night because I just sort of mentioned it because this is something that has been impacting me lately, and it is. I'm going to click on the banner here. Global chip shortage. Is this something that is real, or is it just some sort of media nonsense?
Oh, that's
Well,
why you were
real
scolding me on
quick.
my screen.
Real quick, silicon is what chips are made out of. Silicon is the most abundant natural element in the world and universe.
Carbon
So is it
actually-
really? Is it
Travel
really a
the
shortage?
universe much, do you?
Yeah.
I think,
I think it's
you're thinking of carbon, Grudy. But yeah, silicon
Okay,
is
second
very.
most abundant. Yeah.
Silicon is still very abundant. I mean, it does need to be
Yes.
dug out of the ground, but it is still very abundant. So, what's going on? Why?
Yeah, I
why
think
have we
it's-
got this situation?
I think it's more of a they don't have the individuals working in the factories or whatever to produce these things. I think that's there was some shortage or whatever of work, and now it's just built up and delayed a bunch of stuff. I mean, Bruce and I have been buying every 47 microfarad 16 volt capacitor we could find. So because there's none available, that's Bruce and I to blame for that. Sorry, not sorry.
It was you.
But it is interesting because I think it's also just like shipping stuff, and like I think it's just a compound thing. There's a lot of factors running into it. But I was, for example, on a little trip we went to Florida, so I visited one of the theme parks, and their shelves had hardly anything on it. And a theme park, especially the one like Disney, their whole job is to sell you crap that you don't need. And for their shelves to be like a little bare was like, okay, it's kind of like, I guess they really can't get crap, because if they could, they'd sell it to
Yeah,
you.
they would have it there. Yeah, yes. I mean, one of the things there are a couple of things that have had an impact. Is
I didn't post that.
when
Who did that?
I have one job, okay? I take it serious.
the things like the SCSI 2 SDs, the version 5.5s, they use a little chip on them made by a company called Cypress, and at the moment that chip is unprocurable. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. You can find it at some places, but you're going to be looking at spending probably $25 or more per chip, which is just obscene. So that's an issue. Then we've got things like the little blue pills that are used in the blue SCSI. I've had a lot more trouble getting hold of these than I used to have. So that's also, very frustrating. So it is definitely a very real problem, and it does seem to be impacting, sort of lots of different industries, whether it becomes, spare parts or repairs or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's a real pain in the backside. I would really like to see it end soon.
I would like to know how much of it is affected by the shipping backlog versus not being able to meet demand.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to split that, the factors of exactly what is causing what. But yeah, I think it's more of a compound thing of a lot of crap just happening at the same time. Because I ordered something from, I forget where it was, but it was shipping from China, and the estimate is like February or something. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well,
and a lot of the caps that Bruce and I were looking at, it's like, oh, restock available, March or April 2022. So I was like, okay, we'll wait.
I mean, when it comes to sort of buying stuff from China, If I'm getting them sort of sent directly from China here to Australia, I'm not being impacted by sort of shipping issues that you guys have over there. And I mean, with those companies, they're just saying out of stock. They're not even giving a time as to when they're going to be available again. They normally put in a lead time, when you can expect them. But at the moment, they've just got call for more info, and that call for more info will be, do you want to buy enough that will warrant us actually making some more? So, and I don't. I want to buy 20. So they're not going to fire up the machines for my 20. So,
and Bruce feels very strongly about this because I was testing a little cutting and grinding tool earlier on a donor board and cut up a few random chips, and Bruce just lost it in my life.
Oh, that's right. Silicon shortage. What are you doing? It was actually, I was so disappointed. He was just going very, very delicately and gently, and he's just scraping little bits of it off, and he's like, I want to see if there's anything interesting in here. Then he swapped it and put in this great, big, massive grinding thing that went straight through the silicon. And it's like, you missed all the fun stuff.
I might do it again tonight, just because I'm curious.
I have to admit that does look like an awesome little tool. I am probably going to look to get one myself. So anyone
you didn't order it yet?
No. Well, I'm thinking, how obviously with the Dremel, you can buy little snaky type attachments that allow you to have a nice little light attachment in your hand that's just being driven by the Dremel itself. I want to try one of those first and see how that is, whether I can get the same level of precision using that. Because the thing that I really liked about the thing you were using was just how much, how precise it was. So if I can't get that level of precision with my Dremel, then I will go in and buy one of those things for sure.
Well, I have to go back and watch this stream now.
You do?
You will, yes, absolutely. I mean, I woke up to it. I got up, I woke up, I grabbed my iPad, saw a message there in the group chat, streaming, and yeah, there it was.
Wasting my time working and futzing around with these power books here. Ugh.
And spilling screws all over the floor. I mean,
yes, that was a bonus. I was stripping the screws. Yes.
No, have we got
the screws?
Do we have the video? Of stripping the screws? Come on.
I'll recreate it. Stripping the screws. Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Oh no, it's not there.
It's not there. Yeah.
Oh man,
there it is.
We lost our background.
Yeah.
You found it?
Yeah.
I was stripping the screws. And that's what happens when you live stream past 12 a.m.
You're right, yeah. Okay, now we've got like a bit of time to fill in here, so we will probably need to make up some stuff to talk about. But I do want to just make a quick little mention here that we sort of got the very sad news recently that Jake, also known as the blind PC guy, sadly passed away very young, unfortunately. Very, very sad. And so we want to just sort of send out our condolences to the family. He was in our sort of Mac Yak Discord, and very, very friendly, liked by all, a really helpful sort of person. And yes, we were all very, very saddened by his passing. Does anyone want to have any more to say about him?
Well, Jake was actually
go ahead.
Okay.
Jake was actually one of our very first contributors and collaborators ever on the channel.
Yeah.
And it really hit me here when I found out, because I'd heard that he'd been having possibly some complications, but I didn't think it was that serious until we found out like a week after it happened. So
yeah, when I first found out, I'm like, wait, are you talking about the person I think you're talking about? Because it didn't hit me, but he was always showing up at our live streams, always commenting, always very friendly to be around. He was on the Discord, he would be on the voice chat and everything. So he's been around the show since like the beginning of it. So
literally the beginning.
So 140 plus episodes of it's just very sad to think about.
It's shocking.
Yeah, it
He
really
had a
is.
love for the vintage stuff too, although he was mostly G4, G3, related stuff.
Yeah, and he, I actually talked to him not too long ago because I'm for a few months now, I'm trying to compile data on how people use what you call it, accessibility
software.
features. Yeah. So I talked to him because, as his name suggests, he's blind, and
Mostly.
I've talked to him a few times, and the dude had like a 70-inch TV set up as a screen because he's like, I'm blind as a bat. I can't see anything.
He said that about that far from it too.
He didn't say it in those nicer words because the dude had a mouth on him when he wanted to. But he gave me the features that he used, and I got a few from Facebook, but I never compiled enough to actually turn it into a topic for the show. Else we would have had him on probably a month or so ago. So I'm kind of bummed out that we couldn't make that happen. But he was fun and helpful, and on Discord, when someone had a problem, he knew about it. He would jump right in, just like a lot of members. And it sucks. It's not fun news to get. So.
Yeah. He was always there, in the chat and everything. It's just very strange because you expect him to, to come back in and just say hi, But it's very, very sad to think about. But our condolences to his family and his friends. He made an impact on us. We won't forget him anytime soon. And the community was better for him being in it.
Indeed.
Yeah. Kind of funny the things that you leave behind too, because I happened to be going through my Discord DMs, and there was a thread from him there, and there was a thread from another guy that was in a Star Wars role-playing group that I'm a member of, and we've been doing episodes of that for the past year or so.
Well,
he just passed away as well. So, I was able to see the last messages that I had with him, and then, you're like, I could sit here and send him a message and he'll never get it. And it just didn't really,
it's weird.
Well, one of my biggest memories is when we were trying to figure out a new way to put out video on the channel. We tried to do the live stream stuff with the group chat on Discord, and he got us all together to test it out. And needless to say, it didn't work very well, and we didn't do it. But it was a good memory.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Good dude.
It's not to put a downer on the show, but I have several friends that are way older than I am, and we talk frequently and like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I gotta go to a funeral. Again, you went to one last week. And they're like, well, you get to this age where everybody just starts keeling over and it becomes part of life. But these dudes are late 60s, 70s, and it becomes part of life. But in our community, where it's mostly people our age or younger, you don't really get this kind of news or this experience this often. So when it happens in a community as tight-knit as the Mac community, it does make you think like, hey, we hang out every Thursday. There's people on Discord, think you're different, you name it. And just like that, one of those people could just be gone. That's a weird thing to think about.
I mean, look how gray Bruce is. It's going to be any day now.
I didn't expect
Don't
him to be
talk
on
about my
tonight.
that way.
Every morning I wake up as a gift. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
it is.
I wake up and I go, oh, phew.
Still here.
You signed that will I gave you, Bruce, and everything will be fine.
Still breathing. Still got my bits.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, dear. Right, now we have actually pretty much exhausted all of the pre-planned stuff, so we can probably just dive into the what do you call it, the
shameless
self-promotion, because we're usually pretty good at making that last for 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
So, who wants to start?
Groody.
Let's get rid of the banner here. Our producer.
You got a brand new Mac here. Yeah, you got a brand new Mac, and you're going to use the hell out of it. So what are you going to do?
Just like the last one.
We're going to be comparing them to the slowest Mac I have. It's going to be interesting.
What is the slowest Mac you have?
Mac
I don't
Plus.
know, actually.
Wall Street, probably.
Do you have anything beige? Because that would count.
I would say it's the Mac Plus.
I'd say my Bondi blue iMac. I mean, the Mac
The
Plus, I can't really.
Bondi.
The
Bondi.
what?
The Bondi. You heard him.
We could.
Bondi.
Famous YouTuber just said Bondi.
There we go. We muted him. He's okay.
Hey.
I didn't bloody name it.
The 233 G3. I mean, I do have a, but I mean like a G3 or later. I do have some older Macs that are slower, but compare that to one of those. Compare it to the very first generation, the most powerful first generation MacBook Pro. It should have some laughs there.
Chuck
Do
a
a few
G5 in
other
there as well.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will
In
you
fact, I got my
the
G5.
floor before you do this?
I've got my G5 quad right here. If you can, right
It's on the
there
floor. Imagine that.
on the
I
floor,
recognise that.
connected to my TV.
Which is also on the floor. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I just imagine like every animal and person walking through there and just trampling all over it.
So
Yeah, that's why I
everyone,
always direct the dogs that way. But
don't forget about the whole Red K Mods Patreon. He needs to buy some furniture, so get on there.
The microphone.
and
Need some
don't
discs.
forget, please go to my channel and watch my CED player video. No one watches it.
Yeah, I told you it's too
I
long.
wonder why.
Because it's
No,
58 minutes.
everyone
of what the hell
that
is a
watches
CED
has
player?
found it interesting, but the problem is no one's watching it. And my channel is not just a Mac channel.
I have
I told
That's
you
why no one's
split it up
watching.
into part two.
I have one question for you, Grudy. Did you write a script?
No, I never do.
Did you
I never
try
have.
All I needed to know.
Have a general idea, and then I just start talking.
I had the lovely experience of fixing my own CED player about 8 or 9 years ago, and I don't need to relive that. I'm sorry, Grudy.
I
Yeah.
don't even know what it is. So
I have never heard of it
Well,
before your
it
video.
was only really made for the American market. They were going to expand it, but it never got really past the U.S. market.
Well, I'm an
Listen,
American.
you
I
know,
never heard of it before
Never
the other
even
day.
got an American market for crying out loud. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
By the time there's an excellent video by Technology Connections about the saga of CED and RCA's mismanagement of the damn thing, because if
I
it
see
came out when it was supposed to come out, it actually probably would have dominated a lot of the low-cost market of
Oh, yeah.
the video.
So
But
it's like
it
the
is-
Betamax of Betamax.
And his
But it
series
was-
about
it
it
was-
is
if it-
4 hours long.
if it had come out in the early 70s, we might still be using something similar to it today. Well, probably not, but still, it would have probably outdone the VHS, at least for a while.
Okay, so for
It
those
was-
watching who have never heard of it, what does CED stand for?
Capacitive electronic disc.
And,
Actually.
And,
so, it's kind of like the predecessor
Let me
to the
go get one.
Laserdisc.
It's
It-
and so
basically,
just
it's basically a record with audio and video.
Exactly.
Like a
There's
Laserdisc.
there's a-
That's
there's
a
stylus.
simple way. It's not the whole deal, but that's basically what it is. It's
Yeah,
basically
there's,
a
there's a
record.
stylus instead of a laser.
Yeah. And you- and
Okay.
you-
Oh, wow,
you
really?
use a needle like a record player, but
that's extraordinary.
yeah.
I think
Yeah, you
Rudy's
can use
trying
part
to
of
talk
the
to us.
technology. It just came out too late.
How do you get video fidelity from a pin? A pin.
Capacity.
It's a stylus, but it glides across the top. There's no grooves. It
Oh.
uses electric capacitance to.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like
Now-
a hands-on CD reader.
Now, Grudy, if you answer this question correctly, I will watch your video. Okay. What is the difference between the blue-colored CEDs and the white-colored CEDs?
Stereo versus mono.
All right, I'll have to watch your damn video.
But
Well,
that's
I
the
just love
gist.
the fact that this whole thing started with Grudy
looks like a
promoting his
Laserdisc.
video, and then a couple of seconds
It's the
later,
same
Steve
size.
then tries to promote someone else's video on the topic. I just thought that was impressive.
Well, the funny thing is, I said even in the beginning of the video, I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. I've been collecting this stuff since before it was popular on YouTube. I just never filmed it.
The whole CED thing, you don't realize how much crap our community releases in the span of 2 weeks not being able to watch any. I have to catch up
Yeah.
on so many videos and so many channels and so many chats and your CED video will probably be watched in 2023. Optimistically.
You gotta set your playback speed to
There you
like
go, join the
1.5
club.
or 2.
Yay!
I was going to
Okay,
buy a
I'm-
CD player with disc one time, but they wanted like $300 for it.
People
And I'm
crazy.
like, yeah, no. It's like,
Just posted
that's
a link.
Too much money and guaranteed that the damn thing probably wouldn't work.
Well, yes, I have just look. If I was to actually respond to every single message that I get sent within the vintage Mac community and watch every YouTube video of every other YouTuber that I know, it would be a full-time job. I would do absolutely nothing else in my day than watch YouTube videos and answer messages.
Hey,
Justin.
Justin, thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you,
That'll
Justin.
get you a nice folding chair.
Dear, oh dear.
Next,
Okay, so
please.
next, who's next? Who's next? Mike, do you want to go next?
Not really.
We have to.
Okay.
What you got coming up?
So my future plans is I'm going to torture my cat and clean up the disaster that they made in my living room. Probably not tonight because truthfully I don't feel like it. After that, I have no bloody idea what I'm going to do because I'm kind of out of ideas at the moment.
Can I ask about the disaster? Does it have an odor?
No.
Okay.
And my Roomba did not go through it.
Ooh, those poor
You're
Macs.
blaming that on the cats. Well played.
What
They
happened there?
fell.
They knocked off my my cabinets
Oh
that I
my
keep
god!
all of my parts and stuff in.
That
the
better not be
prototype.
the prototype on the floor.
No, that's a
Ugh.
that one that's knocked over is that's my 17-inch Core Duo, my Mac. It's,
Oh, so
Oh, nothing of value was lost.
It's a doorstop.
no, the prototype is safe and secure. It's still in the trunk of my car
It's a giant bookend.
because I keep forgetting to bring it upstairs. It's still sitting in the trunk of my car from when I went to VCF a month ago.
God.
Got a
All
nice
these-
odor now.
All these Macs on the floor here are crap. They're all
Like, didn't you have a frost?
They
the
are
other night?
now.
well, no, they still work. They actually just knocked it over a little bit, but they knocked
Didn't you-
over both my PCs, my AST, and my digital.
Mike,
And then,
didn't you have a frost the other night? And there's a computer in your car,
we had frost.
didn't you? We
I
did
don't know.
here.
Maybe
Yeah,
I don't think we
got
did.
some here, too.
We might have. I don't know. So got a little
See?
cold. Who cares?
Condensation.
The prototype.
It'll be
cares.
fresh for when I bring it upstairs.
Oh boy.
So I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm probably. I mean, if I think of something to do, I'll live stream. But at the moment, I don't know. I did for some stupid reason. I don't know why. I just lost my mind today because I was so bored at work. I bought a processor and a heatsink from my Dell. So
Which-
That is something out of your mind. Yes.
what's that?
So,
You are out of your mind. Yes.
yeah, you just got the reaction I would expect for that. So
I'm actually thinking. I'm thinking
Crickets.
kind of hard about maybe turning it into a experimental Hackintosh.
You disgust
Well,
me.
that'll do something.
It would be it's a good base to start with. I mean, you know, it'll be a 20 or 32 core Xeon. It's already got 32 gigs of RAM in it, so it'd be interesting to try just to play with it. But then I need a streaming machine to replace it. So maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll try.
super
streaming
interesting.
with one- I might try. streaming with one Mac Pro. That would be a very interesting test.
We did ask.
Can't wait for that one.
Kind of asked for it.
What's
All
that?
right, Dana, your turn.
I am not doing anything this weekend because I have
I am
Well,
shocked.
You don't even have to say because.
nothing
You just
online.
stop.
I have two graphic design jobs. The two that I do just about every other month, they both hit this month this year, and I have to get them done before Thanksgiving. So that's what I will be doing.
And for those from other countries, when's Thanksgiving?
2 Thursdays
sometime
from
in
now.
November.
Oh, okay. A couple of weeks
We
away.
didn't use it. The
Yeah,
25th of November.
Yes, so 2 Thursdays from now.
Cool.
So there will be no Mac Yak because we will all of us except Bruce will be stuffing our faces with turkey.
I'll be here.
Bruce will,
I
Bruce
might
will
be
do
here.
a solo host.
Yeah, we'll just do the Bruce and Jay show. Okay, who we got next? Jay, what do you got coming up?
Tonight I am hopefully fixing an iMac, and I have learned
Which
from
one?
Steve's stream. I'm going in a bit more prepared when I open this iMac up. And
You have a big
I-
box of screws you can drop on the floor.
Yes,
yeah.
bonus screws.
And I also have an iPad 5th generation that needs a new digitizer on it. I have another iPad that I need to see if there's some kind of hack or board modification to remove the iCloud lock from. I have my MacBook Pro that I need to troubleshoot. I have my Mac Pro that needs to be repasted. And I have a crap load of beige that still needs to be recapped. So plenty of streaming material.
If you do find a solution to the iCloud lock, do let me know. I have a similar quandary here. So now
Well,
it is
I'm
my
going to tell you right
understanding.
now, there is no solution.
Yeah,
There's
well,
always
there
a solution.
it's
junk.
my understanding that you can what is it? What's the word?
Yes, you can get
Hack
past
'em?
it, but then as soon as you do an update or something
An
like
update,
that,
it's gone
it
again.
locks again.
Yeah, that's right. So anyhow, this one I am hoping will actually get unlocked by the owner. That I'm remaining hopeful. That I have sent word out to the original owner. It was freely given up by the owner, not stolen from them. So I'm hoping that they will be cooperative and actually unlock it. So
After all that, I don't know what the password is.
So okay, so we'll be watching Jay later later today for me, later tonight for everyone else. So looking forward to that one. Steve, your last or second last?
I've been tinkering around today with these lovely PowerBook Duo things that didn't want to work correctly. Thank you to the anonymous person in the chat that forced me to do this. And so that was a fun time. Pro tip, if you have a Duo dock and you're plugging in a monitor to it and you're wondering, why is this screen not working? You probably have a secondary video card installed that you can't see because the new bus ports are recessed on the damn tower thing. But yeah, and then I got a new heat gun. So I had to make things hot and blow them up and rip some caps off of some boards. Lasers.
So the heat gun has not yet been used. Is it still in the box?
No, it's still in the box upstairs because I had
Okay.
barely enough room to look at this crap all over the place.
And
So-
I also think here's another really pertinent question. Did you get some tweezers?
Yes. Hold on.
Excellent.
Shove the camera back on the thingy.
I love those duos. I want a duo. Yay!
Nice.
The whole stack.
How about,
and of
how about
course,
a fume
and
extract?
of course, as soon as I bought the damn tweezers, I found both of the ones I was missing. So there you go.
That's how it works. You can
And the
never
fume
have too many
extractor is
tweezers.
next on my list. So after the Patreon check clears next month, it's a fume extractor. So there you go.
Dave's here.
That's what I'm doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dave is
Dave.
here. We
Yeah,
have
I
mean,
put
the,
the comments up
interview.
like 5 minutes ago.
we have got the
Yeah.
green light, so that's all good. So
On a
You already
side
went through.
note, I know, but you're talking about Duo docs. Just in case, if and when Ken watches this, he still threw away his Duo docs like 5 years ago.
Yeah, he
They
threw
They
away
were
a lot of
longer
crap.
than that.
I was
That
this
just
close
hurts.
to buying one of those on Facebook Marketplace, and the little turd blossom pulled the sale before he answered my question.
And here's a tip for anybody who gets Duodoc and it appears dead. There are two things you have to be aware of. First,
Yeah.
the mechanism of when you insert the PowerBook, the rubber on the bottom of the PowerBook will stop it, especially when it's deteriorating, from going all the way in. Take all the gooey rubber off and remove that. And you have to really force it in there. And once it actually makes a connection, it should auto turn on. If it doesn't, there are 2 tiny little caps wedged in the middle of the power supply of the dock. Once those are replaced, it should start up. So there you go.
Cool.
I really want one of those. I just love the look of those things. I would definitely like to have one in my collection, but I do not. But never mind.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Mm.
No.
Smash that like button.
Had to be done.
Screws.
Smash it. In terms of what I have coming up in the future, my little self-promotion-y thing, I will be doing a live stream this weekend. I haven't figured out what, but I will definitely be doing one on one of the 2 days of this weekend. So won't that be exciting?
Oh yeah.
Very exciting.
We have to,
that
we
is
have,
so
you know,
cool.
Jay is doing all this streaming with him being back, so we have to make sure we coordinate and don't stream at the same time. And I believe there might even be an eBay sale coming up soon, Jay. Would that be right? A special signature edition Mac 2 going to be getting sold soon?
If
If Jay signs it, I don't want
then I'll sign all of them.
it. No! My money's good as anyone else's.
Special House of Mac 2 sale.
You're right. Best wishes, Steve, and like a paintbrush on the top.
I'm a little, to be fair, I'm a little hesitant to sell the Mac 2.
What?
are they? Mac 2
Sure.
X?
2X.
Yep.
Whatever the Macs I have. One of them is completely finished. And I'm a little hesitant to sell it because it's the one that I test all the power supplies on, all the drives on. So I kind of want to fix up a second one to make sure I have one to do testing.
This
for all
is
the
this
others.
is
Yeah.
how you
That
end up
makes
with
sense.
a basement full of beige, Jay. No,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not happening.
Yep. No, that definitely does make sense. Okay, it would be remiss of me not to mention that we have a Discord.
What?
And anyone here who is not on the Discord should be on the Discord because it's a Discord better than any other Discord. Outrageous claim. I've got nothing to back that up. But anyhow, so do join our Discord if you haven't already. That is the link there appearing and also in the chat there. Please do like and subscribe to this channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. You won't get bombarded with notifications. We don't release enough videos for that to be the case. But we do love the subscribers. You do what you have to do. I have to show my chin when I'm saying that. And what else? Oh, yeah, we have a website as well, macyak.com. We had a link up there before. So that was
Available to everybody except Starbuck Tech for some reason.
Yeah, let's look at that.
well, okay, fair enough.
Well, actually, I used to be locked out of it too. Starbuck
Well, we
Tech.
tried to keep you out, but you kept pestering and just.
But it's an ISP thing, I think. Mine eventually unlocked. So
okay, he says the Mac-Yak site. Is he talking about the
web fat.
Yeah,
site,
the website.
or is he talking about the
web fat.
Discord?
The website.
website.
I didn't know we had a registration for this.
No, we don't. But it looks to me like his IP has probably been blocked by something for some
More than
unknown
likely.
reason. So he just can't access it. So
Yeah, sometimes
if
what
anything,
happens
just
is
call your ISP and have it fixed. That's what I
Yeah.
had to do.
demand from your cable company that you need Mac Yak on your television station
Ask them-
5959.
say, can I please have a new IP address? Thank you. Okay, well, I think that's probably it. Unless anyone has anything else to add, I think we'll probably wrap it all up. I think we've done this one.
Good to wrap.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all very much for joining. Thank you for the super chats. We do appreciate it. We hope to see you again next week. And are you all queued up there, Mike?
Go away.
Okay.